Kieran McAnulty has had his sale and supply of alcohol amendment bill drawn from the Parliament's ballot. And it's not the first time, as I said earlier, that he's attempted to remove restrictions on alcohol sales over Easter, Christmas and Anzac Day. He entered a bill in 2021 saying that if someone wanted a pint on those days, they should be able to have one without getting a full meal. And why can some places remain open? This is my question. Petrol stations, dairies, cafes, restaurants on Good Friday and Easter Sunday, supermarkets cannot, and neither can department stores. So sorry, supermarkets cannot. It's murky for garden centres. Some open, some don't. And while shops in the swanky area of Parnell and Auckland can open, and I believe parts of Queenstown. Are you confused after all these years? I am too. Now, a little under a year ago, ACT's MP Cam Luxton had his bill drawn from the biscuit tin, and believe it or not, his bill was also going to remove restrictions on trading and selling alcohol on Good Friday and Easter Sunday, but it was voted down. And Cam joins me now. Hello, Cameron Luxton.
Good afternoon, Leah. Nice to talk to you.
It's great to talk to you. Now who voted your bill down, Cam?
Who voted my bill down? Well, it was the Labour Party as a bloc, the Greens and Te Pāti Māori, and New Zealand First joined in on the fun and voted it down. So yeah,
Excellent.
it was rather disappointing after spending a lot of time lobbying on that bill. But look, I'm stoked to see a bill get drawn, and congratulations to Kieran McAnulty on having his bill drawn. It's always a big thing for an MP. I was fortunate to get it pretty early in my term, but it's nice to see this, and it's increasing freedom, so it's a good thing.
Listen though, walk me through you were wanting the same thing pretty much, and then they all vote you down, and then hello, Labor pops up. Not even a year later, Kieran's back again, and he wants it. Is this what they do? Is it you guys do in parliaments? Who, I agree with you, but secretly I want to get it passed. I want it. Is this it?
I mean, it's not what I do. I can't speak for others, but look, my bill was slightly different. And
what was yours?
I think this is some of the problem with what Kieran's bill. It does what Kieran's bill did is planning to do for Easter, Anzac morning, and Christmas in regards to alcohol law. But my bill was specifically around Easter trading. So I was saying we need to be able to, go and enjoy an alcoholic beverage without having to justify a substantial meal and how long you've been at the bar for and whether it's a restaurant. And that was one part of my bill specifically for Easter. But the other thing, and I think the substantive issue, was the confusing hodgepodge of practices around the country, who can open, who can't. Easter weekend's got 4 different days with 4 different sets of rules, and as I say, different in every part of the country. So that's the real confusing, annoying part. And increasing the sale of alcohol was a side, was a core part of it, but it was the other issue of it, was the other half. So, like I say, Kieran's bill was doing half of it, but not going the whole job. And so the confusion that New Zealanders face over Easter and the annoyance of having supermarkets and department stores closed, depending on what town you're in, will continue whether this bill passes or not.
Oh, right. So Kieran's sounds like it's only... He's kind of half-assed it, Cam. So he's just looking at alcohol sales, not the actual, like you said, different rules for actual opening in different parts of the country.
Look, he's looking at a different issue. He's specifically looking at alcohol laws. Mine was looking at the confusion over Easter. And so mine was what was called an omnibus bill. It sort of dealt with 2 acts, the Sale and Supply of Liquor Act and the Shop Trading Hours. Kieran's bill deals with 1 act, the sale and supply of alcohol, but it extends what my bill wasn't doing. It extends it out to Christmas and Anzac Day. Whereas mine was just on the confusion for Easter. Yeah.
Right. Now, what do you make of that, say, for Christmas Day? How come were you not interested in adding that and Anzac Day?
Well, what my bill was doing was seeking to reflect the issues that people have over Easter. There's not a clamouring and a cry across the country every Christmas saying, why is the shop closed? This doesn't make any sense. I mean, people in New Zealand generally accepted and are quite comfortable with Christmas. So I didn't see any reason to do anything around that. And the same with Anzac. Anzac Day, it's half a day where there was a restriction on trade. It's also not a big deal. But the real thing that was annoying New Zealanders, and I heard it from so many as I travelled around New Zealand, hearing different stories in different parts of the country, was like I say, the hodgepodge of confusing laws. So that's what I was trying to do, but that had its day. Campaigned hard on it, lobbied MPs, and really tried to engage people on the issue. Like I say, I couldn't convince the parties of the opposition to vote for it, but we'll see. I mean, some of the arguments that were made against my bill during what's called the first reading in the House, where the bill is presented, some of the arguments that were made are pretty strong arguments against Kieran's bill. So we'll see how he goes with his own party. I mean, it's going to be an interesting thing.
Can you tell us what was some of the reasons, like Labour Party and all of them didn't agree with
one
him?
One of them that stuck out, I mean, I hypothesised and sort of and heard from people, it was hard to find strong evidence, but that people would stockpile alcohol, and the people who would stockpile it the most for days when it's closed are the people who are more dependent on it, but also probably the people that, as harm goes, you would least want to be stockpiling alcohol. So that was an argument that I made. The arguments back from the Labour Party in the first reading, some members of the Labour Party, was that's a myth, that's not the case. Then Kieran McAnulty's bill in its press release said that's exactly one of the benefits of this bill. So, there's going to have to be some discussions within his own party on that.
He's cut and paste from the wrong press release. That's a bit, yeah. So I see what you're saying. So yours more kind of looked at the confusing laws and the hodgepodge rules. Can you tell us why? I mean, in all your travels and you talk to people, how does a shop in say Parnell get to open on Good Friday or Easter Sunday, whenever it is, and doesn't Queenstown also get to do what they want to do? Is it up to each? Is it up to each council?
It is up to each council. Yeah, it's opening up a whole. I mean, I don't know. Your listeners are from all parts of the country, so it's risky talking about one place and not addressing others. But for example, Wanaka, with Warbirds over Wanaka in 2013, 2023. Sorry, they couldn't open despite having tens of thousands of people come to their area because of the rules that the council had made. Whereas other parts of the country, take my hometown of Tauranga, for instance, it's generally closed, but there's areas around the Jazz Festival where the council gives options to open. So, I think it's fair enough for if a local community wants to get together and say, look, we think this should be closed, but it shouldn't be a default closed and then open. It should be, people should be free to choose. Unless, there's an overwhelming amount of evidence in the opposite direction, which just doesn't exist on this issue.